Dragoon orders Guru to stand them back up, and they've been pulled to their feet. You see them bruised, and Franklin's got a black eye. Next shot, the trial continues, and they receive their punishment. And Dragoon says, this crime goes beyond anything the Dragon people have ever faced, the murder of their people. For this crime, your punishment or payment is death. And they couldn't speak, and they weren't allowed to defend themselves. Now, Guru, he liked the lust after human females, and he's sticking his tongue out at Susan Page, and Franklin just put his head down, knowing if he speak out of turn, he could be killed instantly. And Guru sort of says an insensitive, offensive comment. You will be mine before you die. You would like that, wouldn't you? And she gave no response as tears coming streaming out her cheeks. And he continues to taunt her a little bit. Right here, she turns her head and closes her eyes in disgust. And she continues to taunt him. And one of the dragon soldiers in the back, and he sort of smiles and looks at the human male, knowing he could do nothing about it. Then Dragoon interrupts him. Get on with it, Guru. Read the punishment. Then Guru, he reads the punishment. This court finds you guilty of trespassing and murder. You will be taken to the hillside. There you will be beaten again, but not killed. There you will be eaten by real monsters. And he sort of laughs. And the dragon soldier also laughs. And then Franklin, at this point, he just basically just speaks out anyway. If I ever get loose, and everybody and Susan tries to warn him, Franklin, don't, please. And he says, Susan, they're going to kill us. I prefer to die fighting. Then Guru approached Franklin. What? What will you do? Then Franklin's hand was loosened by the guard after Guru had ordered it. Guard, loosen him. That's the shot you'll see. And the moment Franklin's hands have been loosened, he takes the punches and punches Guru in the face. No reaction. This is an expression on Franklin's face after the punch has been thrown. And Guru just stands there and sort of, is that it? Human? And it's a shot you would see. And one backhand, one slap, knocks Franklin off his feet. I mean, Guru just slapped it, backhanded. And when the next shot goes back after the slap, you see the sunshine here in the clouds, you see a few birds, strange creatures flying in the background, and you see Captain Star standing there looking out towards the horizon. And he says, God's work is truly beautiful. And Brib Getty approaches him. And she says, Bruce? He says, yeah. And she asks him, where have you been? And he says, I'm right here. And she asks him a question. Have you been avoiding me? And he says, no. And he replies, I'm confused right now. And she asks, do I confuse you? Next shot would be from her back, looking in his face, and he says, "No, there's nothing confusing about you." And she says, "Then talk to me." Now she calls him Bruce because his name is George B. Starr, and she asked him one time before what did the B stand for, and the B stand for Bruce, George Bruce Starr. And he replies, "Now is not the right time or place." And she says she's not waiting forever. And the next shot will come, the back of her head and his face, and he says, "I'm not asking you to." And before they can continue the conversation, they're interrupted by Tom, and well, actually this is Captain Hall. He says, "Captain Starr, yeah, Hall, everyone's ready. Everyone's ready." And he said, "Okay, I'll be there. I'll be right there." And their conversation is interrupted. And Tom walks away, and Captain Starr, there's a sort of a far out shot from the back of Captain Starr, and you see this is Rigetti, and he says, "Duty calls, I have to go." And she said, "I would like to come with you," and he said, "Okay." And they had a meeting at the pickup station because they were about to go on the next search for Susan Page, Franklin Sketch, and the security officer that accompanied them, and he wanted to find out what happened to Captain Joe Jackson's Blazer unit, even though they had already found the remains of Jackson and his men. Now he wants to know what had happened. And he says, "Listen up. You know your areas. We have 5 days left. After that, regardless of whether we find our shipmates or not, they'll be leaving." That's pretty much the sense of what he says. And he continues, "I know you're all tired, so am I. Just a little while longer." And he asks, "Any questions?" And no one has any questions. "Okay, let's proceed." So then the search begins. These are the GR1 rescue ships. The GR1 rescue ships that are used to search. You also see a couple of gunfighter planes also searching. But these ships are designed to go on long searches, and that's what they pretty much use. And aboard the ship, Captain Starr bids them a good search and a safe search, and reminds them to stay in contact. Now, Brigadier accompanied him aboard the ship, and he approached her and put his arm around her, over her waist and around her. And he sees that she's trembling a little bit. He said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And she says, "Nothing. I have never been aboard an airship before." And she had never seen Bog from this position in the sky above the clouds. She'd never seen those things. And we go into another scene of a mountain area located in the Mud Mountains. And you get this structure that you see just coming over the mountains as the camera will come in. And you get this castle that's sitting here. Then you get a camera shot as the camera rolls across the top of the castle and it looks downward. Then the camera would come in again and you see this shot. And you see a figure standing there looking out of the window as Taboo slithers down the steps. And she says in a low voice, "Aaron." And he replies, "Come in, my wife." Then this shot would come in as she would come around him to the left side of him. She stopped, and that's when the conversation commenced. And Aaron, king of the warlock and ruler of demons, what troubles you? And she replies, our followers are restless. They need to see you. And he replies, in due time. This is the camera shot you would see. Then the camera would come this angle. And Aaron would say, we have a traitor among us. And Taboo would ask, who, my king? And he says, Jackal the headhunter. And she says, but we've done so much for him. Why would he betray us? And then as they turn and start to walk towards the steps, Aaron says, something from the past. But that's not important at this moment. And then you come back in on a close-up as she looks up him, and she asks, will you show him mercy? And he replies, I do not know the meaning of the word. He will die. And he turns to her and says, come, let's meet our people. And she puts her hand right on his chin and neck with a seductive smile on her face. That's the camera angle you would see. You see his wings from the back and sort of a side profile of his face and hers. And his long white hair he has. And as they walk through the corridor, it'll be a top shot as he walks and she slithers and they enter into this passageway. Now, in the crowd, before they reach the platform, you got Tiamat, the evil wizard, and Belial, the demon cyclist, and you see the crowd of Aaron's following in the background. Now, this is some of the lines, dialogue that's going on in this particular scene. The background individuals, his followers, shouts out, where's Aaron? And another one says, yeah, where's our king? If Aaron is alive, then where is he? Then Belial, this guy here, he looks at Tiamat and he says, where's Aaron? And Tiamat says, he will be here. Do you doubt like these fools? And he gave no reply. At that moment, that's when Aaron advanced on the platform. Then a loud voice filled the auditorium. And he says, I am here, my people. And you can see Taboo the witch standing sort of off to the back of the platform as he raises his arms and shows his so-called magnificence, and all his people and followers are down below. And that's the shot you would see. And right as he stood there, he could get energy from the people as they are at awe at him and they're worshiping him. And as that takes place, he began to transform, metamorph. This is how he looked when he first reached the platform. Then he starts to change, and this is sort of like a special effect that would take place on screen as his face sort of merges in and then merges out. He changes, and this is what he turns into. He's now back in his original human form. As he changed, Taboo also changed. Now she's no longer Taboo the witch. She now looks like a human female. And the people down below was amazed at his transformation. And he says, now you know my power. Fear it. And he says, Taboo is my wife, your queen. Fear her too. And he raises his hand, and energy comes from it. But as you notice, his hand is still skeleton because his hand cannot be healed. And energy came from his hand, and he raises it, and he says, Tiamat and Belial will be your commanders. You will feel them also. And you see all the crowd of followers down there as he raises his hand. And if you look to the side, Tiamat and Belial is right there. But their transformation hasn't taken place as yet, but it will later. And he starts to rant and says yes, and yes, yes, yes. And he raises his hand, and you see he got wings. And he shouts out, yes, yes. And he's getting the energy from his followers as they begin to worship him and fear him. Then Aaron asked the question while all this is going on. If anyone has something against me, speak now. Then silence filled the room, the auditorium. Then a voice came from the crowd and said, I challenge you, Aaron. All eyes looked towards the voice and the one that actually said that. Aaron walked slowly down the stairs. All eyes were looking on the person that said that. And the camera will come in as Aaron approached. So this will be a back shot as he approached Jackal the Headhunter. You see how huge he is as Aaron approaching from this angle. After he walks down the steps, you approach him and the camera will pan out just a little and you'll be able to see Jackal the Headhunter's full size. And you see the crowd of individuals looking onlookers, as Aaron looks up at him. And a conversation of dialogue takes place. And Jackal simply says, I fear no one. Aaron replies, then you will die. And Jackal states, then kill me if you think you can. Your powers are only magicians' tricks. Aaron slaps him right in the face with a skeleton hand and leaves an imprint on his face. That's how fast it happened. Aaron strikes Jackal with the palm of his hand. Jackal stumbles backwards in a daze as the crowd of people looked on. Jackal fell to his knees. Aaron walked around Jackal as he was senseless and didn't know where he was. You can see he's sort of stumbling back and forward as the onlookers look. And Aaron standing there. I could kill you myself, but Aaron lifted his skeleton arm again. This is the arm with all the power in it. And hanging on the ceiling upside down is his demon bats. Aaron paused for a moment, then looked towards the ceiling of the auditorium. The crowd of people looked also towards the auditorium ceiling. Aaron raised his skeleton hand and summoned his demon bats. The demon bats were fierce fighters, afraid of no one, and would attack anything and anyone. And he says, demon bats, take him. The demon bats flew down from the ceiling of the auditorium and attacked Jackal, biting and scratching and screaming. They'd fly in and then fly out, attacking Prosper's body until they brought him to his knees. And Aaron stood there as the crowd of onlookers looked on. And he says, devour him. The demon bats attacked with no mercy, using their teeth and claws to tear jackals to pieces. The demon bats screamed and yelled as they made their attack